learners in learning land, Tyler from 10thumbspro.com. New ukulele every single Wednesday and Saturday. If you like this kind of content, hit subscribe, ring the bell, never miss a lesson. Leveling up your playing. If you want to go to the next level, it's very, very important to learn how to practice in context. And one of the best ways to do that, backing tracks. Backing tracks will take your playing to a brand new level, multiply, make you 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128 times better, and you do so while having fun. And I'm going to show you exactly how to use them to get better. Way better, dude. Way better. Not this much better. This much better. Way better. When I eat toast, I like to put on a little bit of better. This is such an important topic to me. I'm going to go ahead and give away this backing track for free. You can become a Patreon while you're over there. Let's do it. Grab the ukulele brain attention span. Follow me on in, and let's take our ukulele playing to the next level. Let's do it. Okay, so today's lesson is divided into two larger parts, rhythm and lead. Feel free to use the timestamps to jump to the part of the lesson that you want to learn. Really, you should be working on both, but I understand that some people just want to focus on certain areas, so you have some timestamps pinned in the first comment in the description. Chord shapes. Backing tracks are a great place to practice different chord shapes. Our C, using the G shape, we have a C up here. Open, 7, 8, 7. And the reason I can play this G string is because the C chord has a G note in it. My G chord is built on the C shape, barring the 7th fret and pinky and or ring on the 10th fret. The F chord is just a whole step down from the G. So we bar the 5th fret and we play the 8th. And then the E minor, I'm going to build it on my A minor shape, which is barring the 7th fret and playing the 9th fret. We're going to use the same technique that we did with emphasizing the 2 and the 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4. All right, let's try it to the backing track. When you're doing this, you should explore as many shapes as you can. Knowing more chord shapes is not only going to help your rhythm, but it's going to help you chord melody, composition, being the second ukulele, rhythm, using arpeggios, understanding the fretboard. A lot of positivity comes from learning multiple chord shapes. In fact, I used chord shapes to help me learn the fretboard. That's another video that I should include a link in because it really will help. All right, so back to the backing track. The next piece is rethinking rhythm in general, and we're going to play something that sounds like this. Not like that. So I flubbed a note or two, but that's fine. I'll play it better, I promise, when it's time. So we're rethinking rhythm in general. When you're playing with a backing track, essentially it's like playing with a band. So what does that mean for you as an artist? Well, it means you have less responsibility. The drums are carrying the rhythm, and the bass is pulling that rhythm, but also implying harmony. So it's your job to add to that without taking away. And it can be, if you're just sitting here, you're going to squash and cover up a lot of that cool groove and a lot of the interesting things that the band or the backing track is doing. So it's your job to add to it without taking away. One really, really cool way to do that is what I call rethinking rhythm. And what we're doing here is we are using like a walking bass technique combined with stabs. So for example, over the C, we're going to play this. 2nd fret to the 3rd fret. Then we're going to make a C, which is 4, 3, 3. And we're going to squeeze the 3 and the 3, and then play 4, 3, 3 on the 3rd beat. It's like 1 and 2, 3, 4. And you let that ring out. The 2 is just like a walking bass walking to a chord tone. And a chord tone is simply a note that's in the chord. C is C, E, well, C, E, G. So I started a D note and I walk to that E note. And then once I get to the 3rd beat, I squeeze it all and let it ring out because I have the backing track. I don't need to constantly strum it to keep it going. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Now I'm in the C position and I'm headed to a G chord. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play 5, 3, up to the A, down to the G. I'm going to play the E and the A strings, and then the whole chord on the 3rd beat. A similar concept. We've created something called a motif. When you're doing these rhythm concepts and you find something that works, the power of repetition sounds really nice. So we get over the F chord, you guessed it, 3 and 1, G note to the F note, E and A strings, and then this time, instead of playing these 3 strings, my thumb is going to play the G string, E and A string. I'm not playing the C string there. So we get 1 and 2, well, from the top, sorry. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4. Then we get to the E minor. And what I'm doing here is I'm starting on the F note because I'm coming from the F chord. And then I'm going to play the open E. After that, I'm just playing an E minor 7 arpeggio. What does that mean? Well, the notes in an E minor 7 chord are E, G, B, and D. This D here and this D here, it doesn't matter. D is in the E minor 7 chord. So I go D, E, G, B, and then strum the chord on the 4th beat. And then I'm back in the top. What that does is it does something called turn it around. When you have a chord progression that's 4 measures, the 4th one is really where you want to try to create a little bit of interest and tension to try to get the whole idea to restart. So we put this whole thing together, we get sounds nice. Let's try it with the backing track so you can see how cool it sounds. All right, that is enough with the rhythm. Let's jump into some lead. You can use backing tracks as a way to practice your pentatonic or major scales or Mixolydian, Dorian, any type of scale or mode in rhythm. So the shape 1 of the C major pentatonic is O2. I'm playing on a high G. O2, O3, O3. And what we're going to do is we're going to play up the shape and down the shape with quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Anytime you can practice a scale or even a riff, but also do it to something that's forcing you to improve your timing, it's very valuable. So let's go to the backing track. right, so now we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna do it in eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Simple as that. We're just forcing ourselves to push our timing a little bit further. All right, so let's jump to the backing track and give it a go. The great things that you can do with backing tracks is practice your timing without practicing to a metronome. The click, 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 it can get a little redundant. So what we're doing here is we're practicing our triplets, but just with a little flavor. So we're going to go 3, 5 on the E string. Then you're going to use the lower part of your finger here, roll over to the pad, 5th fret on the A string to the 3rd fret. Triple it 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're going to do that over the C and the F because both of those chords have a C note. Over the G chord, we're going to go 3, 5, 5, 2. The G chord has a B note, E minor has a B note. So what we're doing is we're finishing this idea on what's called a chord tone, meaning a note that is in the underlying harmony. That's how resolution works too. When you're playing licks and everything, and we're going to talk about this a little later, you want that last note ideally to be a note that is in the chord in the underlying harmony. So we'll take a much deeper look at that before this lesson's over. But let's just run through these triplets together. So it's like triple it 2, 3, 4, triple it 2, 3, 4, triple it 2, 3, 4, triple it 2, 3, 4. All right, let's put her to the back track. Ornamentation. We have 5 ornamentations. We have the hammer-on, pull-off, bend, slide, vibrato. We can use the backing track to practice these. So this lick here is a hammer-on, vibrato, pull-off, slide. It's only missing the bend, which we're going to take a look at a little later. So 3 hammer 5 to the 3rd fret of the A string, and that's 1 and 2. You want the hammer-on to be in time. So it's 1 and 2. Little vibrato there. Want some help with the vibrato? Boom. Any of these ornamentations. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, this lesson is going to have a lot of links in the description because there's a lot of these, each of these individual things or each of these little details that we're looking at definitely deserve their whole own lesson. That's why you'll find that I've done lessons on these, but they also deserve your attention as well. From 3, we're going to let that ring through the 2nd beat. We're going to pull from 5 to 3. Then we're going to slide 3 to 5. And this is what I call an instant slide. Oops. When you are sliding, because right now I'm looking at the camera, but when you are, you want to look where you want to land. So if I'm sliding up to the 5th, I should be making eye contact with that 5th fret. Okay, so we get 1 and 2, 3 and 4. All right, let's play it 4 times in a row. All right, backing track time. Bends on the ukulele are hard, and especially if you really just think that it's just that's all there is to it. To articulate a bend, you have to bend in pitch. So, meaning you're trying to nail a specific note. And what we're going to do is, for example, our first bend, we're going to start on this B note and we're going to bend to C. So this is what's called a half step bend because we're bending up 1 fret. C note. By playing it first, I'm able to get that note in my ears. There it is. Now with the backing track, that's really nice because underneath it, I'm hearing a C chord. So by hearing that note, it makes it a little easier for me to bend into pitch. From there, we're going to go up to the 8th fret, and we're going to do a whole step bend to 10. This one's going to be a little harder. Okay, F, we're going to do a half step bend from 7 up to 8. And then the last one's actually the easiest. We're going to bend the 10th fret here on the E string up to an E note. What makes that one the easiest? Well, in the middle of the string between here and here, that's where you have the least amount of tension. So it makes bending the string easier. Also, these 2 middle strings are easier because you have more space to bend. Okay, so that's what makes that bend, even though it's a whole step, the easiest. Let's try it with the backing track. Okay, last concept for today's lesson is phrasing. Phrasing is how we put the notes together. It's what note we choose to resolve on, meaning what note is the last note we play in our phrase. Phrasing is how we articulate. Phrasing is how we use notes to tell a story. Phrasing is very, very important, and I'm going to show you a good way to practice it right here. Using backing tracks, right? You know the chord progression. So what you're going to do is you're going to find a chord tone for the first beat of each of these. This is a G note, and the C chord is C, E, G. So over the first beat, I am going to play a G note, and I'm going to land right on that C. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now keep in mind, I am trying to stick within the C major pentatonic. I'm not really going into the C major scale, but you totally could. But I'm sticking with the C major pentatonic. G note, going to a D, or a G chord. The G chord has a G D, and a B. Or actually, better yet, G, B, D. This B note is not in the pentatonic, but the G and the D are. So we're going to play a D note on the first beat of the 4th fret. F chord, F, A, C. The F is not in our pentatonic, but the A and the C are. So we're going to start this phrase on a C note. And then lastly, D. We're going to start this one on an E note. The pentatonic being C, D, E, G, A. So another pentatonic note. I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I know those notes work with the chords underneath. So when I land on these notes in my solo, I know they sound good with those chords because they're chord tones, meaning they're chords that are in that, they're notes that are in both the scale I'm using and the chord that I'm playing over. So let's bring up phrasing. Here, it's the same notes in the same place. You'll still see 3, 5, 3, 7. But what we're doing is we're learning how to connect them. So that first phrase is a triplet 3, 5, 3, followed by a triplet 5, 5, 5, 3, 5th fret of the A string, 5th fret of the E string, 3rd fret of the A string to the 5th fret. Triplet, triplet, 3, 4, 1. So I use that scale to connect those two notes, and I know those notes are going to work with my underlying chords because I already set them up. This is like, do you remember sometimes on the serial where you'd have the dots in the number and it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and each dot would be numbered, and then you'd like draw from dot to dot to dot in order, and you draw an elephant or a giraffe or something? That's kind of what we're doing here. We're starting at the end. We're putting the notes that we want to resolve on, and we're starting there, and then we're filling in the blanks. Okay, then we get to the F. Now notice here on the F, I rested on the first beat. You don't have to come in on the 1 or necessarily on the 2 or the and. I could have started this on the 4th beat of the G if I wanted to, but not always starting on the 1, and by sometimes starting in the previous measure, you are making your rhythm less predictable. And you want your solos to be both pleasing and not predictable. Sometimes overly pleasing can be too predictable, making the solo boring. So we get 1 and we slide up 3 to 5. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1. So we're gonna 3 slide 5. 5 pull 3, down to 5, back to 3, all 8th notes up to 7. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1. We put these two phrases together, we get 1 pola, 2 pola, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's put it to the backing track. And there you have it, folks. That is exactly how you can use backing tracks to get better. Go out, find a backing track, learn the chord progression, and then replicate each of these exercises, focusing on the ones that were the hardest for you, because that is where you need to improve the most. All right. And at the most important, have fun, everybody. Thank you so much for watching to the very end of the lesson here at 10thumbspro.com. Your learning is important to me, all right? Backing tracks, they will accelerate your learning. I'm thinking about doing a backing track channel, so if I have that, I'll go ahead and link it in these notes. We'll see if it's up. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. If it is, there'll be links here. All right, until next time, new Ukulele Wednesday, Saturday. Keep on rocking and rolling. Have a lovely day. We'll catch you then. Guitar on Monday as well, too. Take care. Practice, practice, practice.